disgusted with her behavior, her lack of respect. Jimmy needs to step up and be involved and take stock in what's going on around.
We've seen Chrissy Lampkin and Jim Jones endure years of turmoil after drama, but rumors say that no one anticipated this. When Joseph, Jim's own son, finally had enough of Chrissy, he didn't hold back. Before you assume this was a spur-of-the-moment reaction, consider that sources point to years of frustration building up before Joseph's outburst. But what really drove him over the edge? And why did Jim allow it to happen?
No pressure for you and Chrissy to get officially married.
No. You married?
I'm not married.
Your mama married?
My mother wasn't married either.
All right, then. So that should answer your question. Why you worried about me getting married?
I knew you was gonna come with it, Jim. I knew you was gonna come with it, but as a female, I still have to ask the question.
You're talking to me about something that you haven't fulfilled or your mama hasn't fulfilled. So you should be worried about what's going on in my house. You should try to figure out what's going on in yours.
Okay, but as a fan watching the relationship on television, that is something that fans, we always kind of have that question.
As a fan, you fans need to turn around and see if your mama's married or if your father's married. That's what you fans need to do. And if that's not going on in your household, you fans shouldn't ask me any questions. You dig? I'm only letting people that has grown up in a household that's married, mother and father, and are in marriage.
Despite being together for more than 10 years, Jim Jones and Chrissy Lampkin's relationship has always been more drama than stability. Commitment has been a major problem from the start. Chrissy wanted a marriage, but Jim never seemed ready to make it official. Fans of love and hip-hop recall when Chrissy took charge of the situation and proposed to Jim herself back in 2011. Which at the time seemed like a brave move. But in retrospect, it was evident that Jim wasn't fully committed. Even after he eventually proposed, the wedding hasn't taken place. While fans saw it as just another toxic celebrity relationship, Jim's son Joseph was watching it all unfold up close. He lived through the late-night arguments, broken promises, and never-ending cycle of drama. And over time, it changed his perception of Chrissy. The engagement simply dragged on, and it became clear over the years that Jim wasn't going to walk down the aisle. In addition, there have always been rumors of infidelity hovering over their relationship, with both Jim and Chrissy accused of stepping out and their trust issues demonstrated publicly. She had been his father's long-term lover and had contributed to the issue for years. Behind the scenes, it was evident that Joseph had problems with Chrissy, but he kept his distance and never saw her as a stepmother figure. However, things recently got out of hand, and Joseph decided he could no longer keep quiet. According to reports, it all began when Chrissy confronted Jim about claims he was playing around with hip-hop artist Brooke Bailey and Love.
Saying that apparently after Jim Jones and Chrissy broke up, which a lot of people didn't even know they broke up, now he's married or engaged to Brooke Bailey. There's a lot to the story. Let's talk about it. First of all, let's take it back to Jim Jones and Chrissy being together and breaking up, okay? So, people didn't know that these two had broken up because they literally were together for like 20-something years. If you know anything about Chrissy Lampkin is a gangster chick. She used to go with Alpo. Y'all know the movie Paid in Full? She was one of the dudes that the story is based off of, main girl in New York back in the day.
Let me tell you guys something. This is the craziest viral that I've ever been in my whole entire life, because I wake up one day, I do my whole routine, read my devotionals and positive stuff, and then I go on my Instagram and I see fake pages you took Jim, and I'm like, I just blocked the page. I said, who is Jim? Because I'm single, so I'm like, who is Jim?
Although rumors of Jim's involvement with another lady have been around for years, this time it struck in a different way. According to sources, Chrissy, who had already grown weary of years of uncertainty, lost it and confronted Jim at their home. The argument swiftly escalated, and Joseph was present when it all happened. For the first time, he publicly questioned Chrissy's role in his father's life. However, this wasn't just one incident, it was years of. Anger erupted over Chrissy, who was allegedly told directly by him that she was not his family, that she had overstayed her welcome, and that she contributed to Jim's life being in perpetual turmoil. Joseph was making it plain that he was done with her, according to witnesses, and this is where things truly took a turn for the worse. Joseph didn't just stop talking. His next action stunned everyone.
If you didn't leave me to figure it all out by myself, then maybe I can process it a little different. But because I have to deal with it by myself most of the time, this is what you get. I need a break from it.
When Chrissy and Jim's argument got more heated, Joseph was there, watching the same cycle repeat itself. But this time, according to sources, he wasn't just a spectator. When Joseph intervened, Chrissy threw him out right away, telling him to keep out of grown people's affairs. That's when things got serious because Joseph wasn't a kid anymore, and he wasn't going to stand by and let Chrissy control the situation. Joseph reportedly told Chrissy that she had no place in their family anymore, that she had brought nothing but drama into his father's life, and that it was time for him to let go of her. According to those close to the situation, that was the moment when years of pent-up frustration finally came out. Witnesses claim that Joseph physically assaulted Chrissy and made her leave their home. But this is where things become even more fascinating because Jim didn't intervene or attempt to stop it. Joseph stood up for Chrissy. He didn't even try to diffuse the tension by saying anything, and that silence was compelling. Jim has always been caught between his son and Chrissy, but his silence seemed to say a lot in this particular moment. Some people think he was secretly supporting Joseph and may have even anticipated this, while others think he was simply too overwhelmed to step in. In any case, the fact that he didn't stop, it was a significant statement. Incredulous, Chrissy had worked for this relationship with Jim for more than 10 years and even put up with years of uncertainty. But in this moment, she realized she might not have the support she thought she had, and then she was gone. According to reports, Chrissy left the house humiliated, but not in the sense of, "I'll be back tomorrow." This time, it felt different because she wasn't just leaving after a fight. Rather, she was leaving a situation that had completely fallen apart beneath her. For years, she had held onto the belief that her loyalty to Jim would secure her place. But after this, it became clear that she wasn't as untouchable as she had anticipated. Joseph, on the other hand, didn't seem to regret what he did, as sources claim he later justified his actions by telling close family members that he was merely protecting his father. Create chaos in Jim's life, and he felt that it was time to finally put an end to it. However, some people agreed with him that this wasn't the first time that Chrissy and Jim's family had clashed over the years. There had been a lot of tension, particularly with Jim's mother, Nancy Jones, who never fully accepted Chrissy, and they had their share of heated arguments. Some people think that this was just another chapter in the long battle between Chrissy and Jim's family, but this time it was Joseph who was leading the charge. Now the big question is whether Chrissy will attempt to return, because just when people thought that she was at the end of the road, new information came to change everything.
Watching a lot of you trappers and you hustlers and you niggas just running around doing God knows what, and you all got this, you heard? But this got 24-hour surveillance, you heard? Inside and outside the vehicle. You busting moves in this shit.
Reports indicate that Chrissy's influence over Jim's finances was one of the main causes of Joseph's annoyance. According to family members, Joseph's response wasn't just about this one explosive night. It had been building for years. Chrissy allegedly attempted to control Jim's finances and business decisions frequently guiding him away from opportunities or choosing options that favored her over him. According to some sources, Chrissy persuaded Jim to decline deals that could have improved his financial situation, while others think she coerced him into making decisions that weren't always wise from Joseph's perspective. This was not just about a relationship. It was about his father's welfare, and Jim's mother shared Joseph's sentiments. When Joseph finally confronted Chrissy, some speculated that he was acting on long-simmering animosity in the family. Given all of this history, some wondered if Jim had been feeling the same way. Mama Jones has never been shy about her opinions about Chrissy. Over the years, she has publicly criticized her, questioned her intentions, and called her out for not contributing enough to the relationship. Their tension was evident on Love and Hip Hop, and fans witnessed how deeply their problems run. Didn't want to be the one to end the relationship. Could Joseph have simply fulfilled Jim's long-held desires? The situation begs the larger question of whether Chrissy's influence on Jim was truly detrimental, or if she was merely a convenient target for the family's resentment. What does this leave us with? On one hand, Jim and Chrissy's humiliating departure from the house seems like a dead giveaway that their relationship is over. But let's face it, this isn't the first time they've had serious issues. The only difference now is that Joseph is involved, and if Jim decides to support his son, that could be the last straw. The key question is whether Jim will attempt to mend their relationship, or whether he will finally accept that their relationship is over, has reached its conclusion. According to one fan, Joseph had every right to speak his mind. He has watched this drama play out for years, and if Jim won't step up, somebody has to. Another fan thinks Jim might try to make things right, especially given how much they've already been through together. Another one was added. Despite her belief that she was untouchable, Jim's own son put her in her place. If the family never embraced her after all these years, perhaps she was never supposed to be there. But one thing is certain, this circumstance has left many issues unanswered. Please let me know in the comments if you believe Joseph was justified in intervening or if he went too far.